My first question for you today is about Thanksgiving traditions, and I know for my family we do the same thing sort of every year. So what traditions do you have?
My Thanksgiving traditions are fairly straightforward. I mean, I cook Thanksgiving every year at my house, and I usually have about 40 or 50 people in my apartment, half of which I don't know anymore. We don't even send out invitations. People just kind of show up at this point. It's a really fun day. And it truly is a tradition at my house. And then I cook a themed Thanksgiving. So it could be Louisiana. It could be a California-style Thanksgiving. Last year we did a Northern Italian-style Thanksgiving. And so this year I haven't decided what I'm going to do, but I'm taking any suggestions. But then what happens every year, no matter what the theme is, after we eat dinner, after we have dessert, and of course the football is sort of playing on mute on all the TVs, we have men versus women Trivial Pursuit. And we actually have a trophy that we pass back and forth every year, and it gets really, really ugly. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I can imagine that would get ugly.
Very competitive. I mean, people are like dug in.
I think my suggestion is that you should do some sort of Indian curry style Thanksgiving.
What a good idea. You know what? I think I'm going to do that.
You'll have to let me know how it turns out.
You know, because what I do is, you know, I mean, I love those flavors, and I like big flavors. And so, you know, the idea is that it still looks like Thanksgiving. Like, I still do turkey, and I still do all the side dishes, but they're flavored with, like, for instance, like last year I did a cranberry sauce, but it had Campari in it and grapefruit. You know, so it had, you know, so it had those Italian flavors. But that's a really terrific idea. I like that. Love those Indian spices.
And then, do you have a favorite way to prepare the turkey?
Well, I cook the turkey very simply. I put it in the oven. I mean, I put it in a roasting pan. I season it very well with salt and pepper. And depending on what the flavor is, like last year when I did the Northern Italian style one, you know, I cooked it with roasted lemons and roasted garlic and lots of fresh rosemary. So all those flavors sort of permeated the turkey itself. But you know, as far as cooking it, what I do is I just put it in a roasting pan with some vegetables and some herbs, and then I put lots of chicken stock on the bottom so it creates steam, so that the moisture continues, and then I rub it with a lot of butter, and then the butter melts into the chicken stock, and I baste it with that liquid like every 20 or 30 minutes.
Nice. I'd eat your turkey.
Thanks.
It sounds good. Do you have any foolproof turkey tips as far as like how long to let it rest, or, you know, is it best to start with a room temperature bird or anything like that?
Yes, you should. Yeah, good point. You should definitely let the bird get to room temperature. Of course, if it's frozen, defrost it. But even if it's defrosted and it's in the refrigerator, you should definitely bring it to room temperature so it cooks evenly. And you know, and other than that, I just kind of fire away. Basically, the other thing you can think about is utilizing if the breast is already cooked and it's nice and crispy and it's cooked all the way through and the legs aren't cooked, what you could do is you could take the turkey out and take off the legs and the thighs and leave the breast intact. Let that rest, and then you put the legs and the thighs back into that sort of broth that you've created with the chicken stock and the butter and cover it, and then basically you'll be braising the legs. So they'll get really tender, and the dark meat will get cooked all the way through.
Oh, that's a good idea. I've never heard of that before. At our house, our favorite side dish for Thanksgiving is green bean casserole.
Right.
And we've gotten a bit finicky about using fresh green beans and real cream and making our fried onions from scratch. So what is your favorite turkey Thanksgiving side dish?
Well, one of the side dishes I like to do is mashed potatoes with queso and green chilies. A queso sauce. My wife is from Texas, so they talk about queso, and queso in Texas means basically a cheese sauce. And so I make a sauce out of a really luscious cheese sauce, and then I roast poblano chilies, and I roast them and peel them and seed them, and then I chop up the green chilies, and I put it in the queso sauce, and then I make some really rich mashed potatoes, very silky and smooth, and I put them in a bowl, and then I make a well in the middle of the potatoes, and I pour the green chili queso sauce in the middle, and basically that becomes the star of the entire show.
Yeah. I've never seen anyone put the cheese sauce in the potatoes and serve it that way.
Mm-hmm. It's the way to do it. You know, it's Thanksgiving. Calories are not to be counted.
And then, what about for leftovers? Do you do
Yeah.
anything special with your leftovers?
Well, I'm
turkey?
actually making this dish right now. I don't know if you can see me or not, but I'm making this dish right now where I take turkey breast that's already roasted from the night before. And instead of just making a sandwich, what I do is it's almost sort of like a Milanese style turkey. You can make a sandwich out of it or a salad out of it, or you can just serve it, you know, plain on its own rather. And what I do is I take 3 ingredients: some Dijon mustard, some Hellmann's, and then some spices, salt, pepper, maybe some cayenne. And I brush the turkey breast with that mixture. And then what I do is I put I make a mixture of panko breadcrumbs and some salt and pepper and a little bit of fresh parsley or whatever herbs you have around. And then I put it into a saute pan, and I let it get crispy and crusty on one side, the side that has the crust on it. And the whole thing literally takes about 2.5, 3 minutes, because remember, the turkey's already cooked. And then you know, I flip it over, and I'm actually putting this recipe up against two other recipes on the turkey challenge at hellmanns.com. There's 2 recipes, and basically, if you vote, you have a chance to win a gift certificate for $250. So you know, it's worth it. You actually can get your entire Thanksgiving meal paid for.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, lastly, just one thing you're thankful for this year.
One thing I'm thankful for this year. I'm thankful that people still want to come out to restaurants and have a great dining experience. I mean, that's, you know, I've been in the restaurant business for a long time, and every day I never take it for granted that I'm going to open the doors and people are going to show up. So I'm always grateful for that. But you know, the economy's been a little rough the last few years, so I'm very grateful and very thankful that people are still coming out to dinner.
All right. Well, thank you.
My pleasure.